General Economics, an introduction to economic principles prepared for intermediate students. Today I am going to present an introduction to general economics. Economics is an important subject because it helps us understand how individuals, business, and governments make decisions about using limited resources. In daily life, we constantly make economic decisions such as spending money, saving income, and choosing between alternatives. This presentation will cover the fundamental concepts of micro and macroeconomics. Definition of economics: study of allocation of scarce resources, focus on production, distribution, and consumption. Economics is the study of how people and societies use limited resources to satisfy unlimited wants. Resources such as land, labor, and capital are scarce, but human wants are unlimited. Therefore, choices must be made. Economics studies production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. It helps government create policies and helps business make profitable decisions. Branches of economics: microeconomics, individual units; macroeconomics, economy as a whole. Economics is divided into two main branches, macroeconomics and macroeconomics. Microeconomics studies individuals' units such as household, firms, and markets. For example, how a family decides its budget and or how a firm sets prices. While macroeconomics studies the economy as a whole, it includes topics like inflation, unemployment, GDP, and national income. Both branches are important for understanding economic system. Basic economic problem: scarcity, choice, opportunity cost. The basic economic problem is scarcity. Resources are limited, but human wants are unlimited. Because of scarcity, we must make choices. Whenever we choose one option, we give up another option. The value of the next best alternative that we sacrifice is called opportunity cost. For example, if a student chooses to study instead of working part-time, the lost income is the opportunity cost. Factors of production: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. There are four main factors of production. Land includes natural resources such as water, minerals, and forest. Labor refers to human efforts, both physical or mental. Capital includes machinery, tools, and equipment used to produce goods. Entrepreneurship is the ability to organize other factors and take risks to start a business. All production depends on these four factors. Next is economic system: traditional, command, market, mixed. There are four main economic systems. Traditional economics is based on customs and traditions. Command economy is controlled by the government. Market economy is based on demand and supply with minimal government intervention. Mixed economy combines features of both market and command systems. Pakistan follows a mixed economic system. Demand. Demand means the desire for a good supported by the ability and willingness to pay for it. According to the law of demand, when prices increases, quantity demanded decreases. When prices decreases, quantity demanded increases. This shows an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. For example, when the price of a product rises, fewer people buy it. Supply. Supply refers to the quantity of goods that producers are willing and able to sell at different prices. According to the law of supply, when prices increases, quantity supplied increases. This shows a direct relationship between price and quantity supplied. For example, farmers produce more crops when prices are high. Next is market equilibrium. Demand supply determines equilibrium price. Market equilibrium occurs when quantity demanded equals quantity supplied. At this point, there is no shortage and no surplus in the market. The equilibrium price is determined by the interaction of demand and supply forces. If demand increases, prices rise. If supply increases, prices fall. Next one is elasticity, price elasticity of demand, responsive versus non-responsive demand. Elasticity measures how response, demand, or supply is to changes in price or income. If demand changes significantly with a small price change, it is elastic. If demand changes very little, it is inelastic. For example, luxury goods are usually elastic, while necessities like salt are inelastic. The next one is utility. Total utility, marginal utility, law of diminishing marginal utility. Utility means satisfaction derived from consuming goods and services. Total utility is the total satisfaction from all units consumed. Marginal utility is the additional satisfaction from one extra unit. According to the law of diminishing marginal utility, as consumption increases, marginal utility decreases. For example, the first slice of pizza gives more satisfaction than the fifth slice. Short run and long run. Law of diminishing returns. Production is the process of converting inputs into outputs. In the short run, some factors are fixed. In the long run, all factors are variable. The law of diminishing returns states that if we continue adding one factor while keeping other fixed, output will eventually increase at a decreasing rate. Cost of production. Fixed cost, variable cost, total and marginal cost. Costs are divided into fixed and variable cost. Fixed costs do not change with output, such as rent. Variable cost changes with production levels, such as wages and raw materials. Total cost is the sum of fixed and variable costs. Marginal cost is the cost of producing one additional unit. Market structure. Perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, oligopoly. There are four main market structure. Perfect competition has many buyers and sellers with identical products. Monopoly has only one seller. Monopolistic competition has many sellers but differentiated products. Oligopoly has few large firms dominating the market. Each structure affects price and competition differently. National income, GDP, GNP measurement methods. National income measures the total value of goods and services produced in a country. GDP or gross domestic product is the most common measure. It can be calculated using expenditure, income, or output methods. GDP indicates economic preferences. Inflation. Inflation is a continuous rise in the general price level. Demand pull inflation occurs when demand of a product exceeds supply. Cost push inflation occurs when production cost increases. High inflation reduces purchasing power and affects living standards. Employment. Frictional, structural, and cyclical. Unemployment refers to the people who are willing and able to work but cannot find jobs. Frictional unemployment occurs during job transition. Structural unemployment happens due to the mismatch. Cyclical unemployment occurs during economic recession. Next one is fiscal policy, government spending, taxation, budget deficit. Fiscal policy involves government spending and taxation decision. It is used to control inflation and unemployment. Expansionary fiscal policy increases spending to boost the economy. Contractionary fiscal policy reduces spending to control inflation. Next one is monetary policy, controlled by central bank, interest rates, money supply. Monetary policy is controlled by the central bank. It regulates money supply and interest. rates. Lower interest rates encourage borrowing and investment. Higher interest rates reduces inflation. In Pakistan, the State Bank controls monetary policy. International trade, imports and exports, balance of trade, comparative advantage. International trade involves import and export of goods and services. Countries trade because of comparative advantage. Balance of trade shows the difference between export and import. Trade improves economic growth. Thank you.